Hello, hello, what's going on? I am doing a little impromptu live here. Going to get through as many questions as I can that are on my live questions list. So if you're interested in me answering a question for you, head along to ask.peter.tv and I will answer them for you. And I'm just going to check my audio levels are all okay here. And let me drop it in to the chat. Ask.peter.tv. Oops, that doesn't work. Ask.peter.tv. That would be better. Cool. So if you're on the live, make sure you say hi. Say hello if you are here watching live. Let me know where you're watching from. Great to have you with me. Can you hear me okay? Can you see me okay? Fingers crossed, I hope so. My levels are saying that it's all right. It has said that the audio, the bandwidth has dropped. So let me just double check that on my trusty little iPad here. Make sure the stream is actually working. Yeah, it does appear to be. So fingers crossed we are okay. All right, well, let's jump into some questions. I'm going to cover as many as I can. Let's hit my little screen share button here. Doesn't look like it's got a camera, but that's okay. We'll survive without that. Okay, so question here from Andy Bentley. How do you set up your environment for productivity? That's a good question. Pretty broad one. How do I set up my environment for productivity? I think for me, being an entrepreneur and being on the spectrum of having behaviors that align with ADHD and behaviors that align with being on other spectrums as well, for me, routine is actually very important. That's probably the most important thing for me to be productive is to actually have healthy routine. And it sounds counterintuitive for an entrepreneur to say that routine is the most important thing for me because many entrepreneurs have no routine. But discipline equals freedom. And for me, routine means if I know there's a certain set of behaviors that are healthy for me, that are good for me, if I repeat those behaviors, I'm more likely to be productive. And so what that looks like for me is going to bed at a decent time, getting a good night's sleep. It means making sure that in the morning I do kind of like a mind dump, which is my journal. I've got other videos, and I think I did a podcast on that with Carl Taylor on what I put in my journal every day. And then I'm pretty clean with my hygiene in terms of when I take meetings and when I do things on certain days. Now, I have the luxury of having scaled up a business, and my primary business that I was running for the last kind of 15 years, IT Genius, I've mostly exited from. And so now effectively that business just needs one or two meetings a week, and it's pretty much running under management. And so my responsibility to those staff is really only just coming to that weekly meeting, providing my insight, providing my vision, and giving them a little bit of help and support with whatever challenges they may have. And this is just my executive team and my business partner, Scott. But apart from that, I'm not really involved operationally. So that's really nice. Now, the challenge with if you're operationally involved in a business is you're probably going to have lots of day-to-day interruptions happening, right? You're going to have staff that have questions. You're going to have a team that have questions as well. And so that's going to be more of an interrupted type style of work. And so what I would recommend then is to try and create some structure and some routine for you in your week. Maybe it's Friday is the only day that you pay bills. And if another invoice or another bill comes across your desk, you don't touch it until Friday. You defer it till Friday, and then you get in the cadence of only paying bills on Fridays. And what that means is, sure, for the first week, there may be that bill that was late and you forgot to pay it or whatever, and you've got to deal with that on a Tuesday. But eventually you'll get into the cadence of only paying bills on Friday. Now, you've got to make sure that you always do it on Friday, but what that does is it clears up the rest of your week so that you're only ever paying bills on Friday. Now, that's called batching, and you can do all kinds of batching in the business. So maybe you do a huddle with the team, and that huddle is basically like your way of answering the daily questions from your team, and you make sure you do that every morning. We happen to do one meeting at the start of the week. It's called the Monday Midday, and that meeting is where we kind of set up the week, and then we do huddles Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings, pretty much at the start of the day. And then Friday, we do what's called a retrospective, which is like the end of the week. And we do that towards the end of Friday. We review what went well, what do we need to improve, and that's kind of it. But setting yourself up and setting your team up in a cadence where you have repeatable routine really helps to be productive because, there's the idea of task switching or, multitasking is not actually, like, it doesn't actually exist. Multitasking doesn't actually work. People think that you can do more than one thing at once, but what actually happens is you just get distracted and you kind of half do two things, and you do a kind of crappy job at two things. And so if it's possible for you to batch your tasks and to set a routine in your tasks, that's really going to help you. Now, let me show you my calendar. I'll just log into my Google Calendar here, and I'll give you a bit of an idea of what my week looks like. Obviously, I'm in a pretty unique position because I'm operationally outside of my business, but you still might be interested to see what this looks like. So you can see here I've got a number of days. I pretty much put all of my strategic meetings on a Wednesday. So they pretty much all sit there on Wednesday because that's the one day that I want to just like smash through all of my meetings. On Thursday, I have my mentoring sessions, which is on track. They're pretty intense because I'm working with business owners and I'm helping support their business growth. And so those sessions, I have a break between. So I've got a little bit of break time. You can see here a couple of my team have kind of like jumped into some of my break time, but that's okay. I'm letting them do that. And typically I have Mondays and Fridays completely off. So you can see here, I booked a filming day on Friday, which is a personal brand project. Going to be working on that. If I go along to my next week, I've got another filming day booked on Friday. So completely kind of free day there. No meetings, no operational stuff, no team stuff. I've also got Monday free to kind of like do whatever I want. I've got a podcast booking in the evening. And then you can see here Tuesday as well. Probably do some more filming there because I don't have any meetings set up. So that's the wrong button. Sorry about that. So that's how I kind of set up the week. It's this repeating cadence of all my strategic meetings. Mostly happen on the Wednesday. On Thursday, I'm coaching my coaching students inside On Track Mastermind, and then Monday, Tuesday, Friday, I've basically got those as free days right now, which I'm choosing to spend my time on filming for this project and for other YouTube channel projects that I have going at the moment. I spent a lot of time basically having completely free Mondays and Fridays and 4-day weekends. I did that for a couple of years. It was lovely. And now I'm a bit more involved in a few projects that I'm choosing to be a part of. But the fundamental point here is for me to be productive, task batching, routine, sticking to that routine, and then basically looking after my body, looking after my health through nutrition, through the right amount of sleep, through the right amount of, putting good things in my body, but also exercising as well. That really keeps me very, very productive. And it keeps my brain switched on as well. Before I start work each day, I'll do a few push-ups or I'll do a full workout. Maybe I'm up at 7 a.m. down the beach with the boys doing a full workout. And what that means is I'm basically like clearing out any of the energetic stuff that might be lingering in my body. And that is helping me to basically be ready for the day. And that helps me to stay productive. So hopefully that one helps. Good question, Andy. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to mark that one as answered. Cool. And let's see if anyone has joined the live. I'm not sure if I can even see that. No live viewers at the moment, but that's all right. This is a fairly new channel, so I don't expect too many. All right. Let me see. Okay. I'm just trying to see a question that I want to answer. That's Google questions. I'm not going to handle those. Okay, cool. Here's a great question. What are your top tips for finding and retaining great talent for your business? It's a challenging labor market at the moment, and I'm keen to hear your thoughts on any ideas to help stand out as an employer of choice. This is a great question and something that I'm very passionate about. I'm really passionate about building successful teams and also building great culture inside a company. Surprise, surprise, culture is the number one thing that you can do to attract and retain great talent. Now, we work in the IT industry, and our primary business, IT Genius, is a customer service business. It's not really a call center, but it's in that industry of customer service. And in the call center industry, particularly in the Philippines, where most of our team are, the turnover is typically 50 to 100% per year, meaning the whole team will usually be cycled out over the course of the year, which is absolutely crazy. And so knowing that, we decided that we wanted to buck the trend and try and retain really, really great talent in our company. Not only is it going to be better for productivity, but it means less hiring, less cost of rehiring people, and all the other challenges that you have. And personally, I think you've failed. If you can't retain good people in your business, I think you've failed as a leader, because leadership is really about bringing people on board to get things done. But if you don't have a functional team, then people are going to leave. And so that's a really good metric on how you're doing with your leadership in the business. Don't get too butthurt about it. Like, if someone moves on after 2 years or after 3 years to pursue different career opportunities, that's fine. But if people are leaving after 6 months, then you may have a problem. So how do you attract and how do you keep that great talent? Number one, it's about culture. And to build great culture in your business, you really want to make sure that starts at the top with you, the founder, or I assume you're the founder of your business. And you want to, wherever possible, create the whole business to be vision, mission, values led. And what do I mean by that? Vision, mission, values led. Well, you want to decide, why does this business exist? And you really, really, really need to go deep and actually tap into, why are you in business? And you've got to get through all the childhood stuff, and you've got to get through all of the deep stuff. Go on some soul searching, if that means going and sitting under a tree, if that means, disappearing camping for a day, whatever. But work out, why are you doing this? Now, for many people, the business will be a reflection of the values of the founder. The business will be a reflection of the desires of the founder. That's okay. That's completely fine. My business, IT Genius, is about helping people. It's about supporting business owners to be more successful. It's about helping them with tech, stuff. Personally, I love technology. Personally, I love how technology can help people live better lives. But under all of that, the actual psychological driver is, I like to be helpful. That's what I like personally. And I like to receive praise for being helpful. When people say, oh my God, Peter, you're amazing, and you made this amazing YouTube video, or you helped me fix that problem in my Google Drive, that feels really good for me personally. And so IT Genius is an echo of my personal values and my personal psyche. Now, if you can work that out for your business, it's totally fine for the business to be a reflection of you. That's no issue. The key then is finding people to bring into that business that are values aligned with you. And the magic is, if you can get to know those people on a human level, on a personal level, and find a way to understand how they can see their personal goals and dreams and ambitions being realized by their participation in the business and helping the business achieve its mission and its vision and its values, well, then you've got a match made in heaven. And that's really the art of entrepreneurship and the art of leadership. It's really easy to bring people in and say, our mission and our values are commitment and integrity and hard work. But to actually get the humans in the business to connect to that is another story. And so what you want to do is identify, okay, what's important to you, name those things, and then when you start recruiting people, you start looking to recruit people, actually tell them, this is what's important to our business. This is what's important to me as a founder. These are the kind of people that I want to attract. These are the kind of people that I want to have around me when I'm doing my work. And then your art as a leader, as a visionary founder, is to keep those people connected to that mission and keep those people connected to those values. And so, you can Google and look for, resources online on how you can hold a values session with your team, or how you can manage a values session with your team. And get an idea of how to start to build that out for your business. That's the kind of thing that I help business owners with inside OnTrack. So if you need a little bit of help with that, feel free to reach out. Just slide into my DMs and let me know. Be happy to help you out if I can. But that's really the secret. Now, how do you manage then the culture? Well, you've got to find ways to keep people connected to those values on a day-to-day basis. One of the things that we love to do is values sessions with our team. On our monthly meeting, we do a values shout out. We call it Genius of the Week. And what we do is we basically hold up our values, and our IT Genius values are basically shared with the team. And we will then shout out another member of our team on those values. And we share with them, hey, you've done a wonderful job this week. Bob, thank you so much. I really appreciate that you have been an example of professional execution this week. Let me show you my values. I'll show you what they look like. Let me find our careers page at IT Genius. Where are our values? Here we go. Cool. So you'll get a bit of an idea of our values here. And I might say, hey, Regina, thank you so much for having the team, reconciling all the accounts correctly with accurate reports. That is an example of absolute accountability to your role. And I shouted the team out that in a meeting. If you haven't already read a book called The 1 Minute Manager, very, very simple book, nice and easy to read, but that's pretty much the absolute foundational basics that you must know and must do every day when you're managing team members. But what I really love about that book in particular is the concept of catching someone doing something right. catch the team doing something right. Now, often as an entrepreneur, our job is to spot the issues and fix the issues, right? But we can spend a lot of time getting stuck, feeling like we're the one who has to solve everyone's problems all day long. But also, sometimes we're only noticing when things are going wrong. And you can absolutely get caught in that trap, particularly as you scale. Once you've got 5, 10, 15 employees, that's the really, really hard part of the business where you're transitioning from you being the person who's managing everyone to now having some other people helping you out with management of the team. And that, we call it the desert, that gap between 8 employees and 15 employees, right up until you get to about 20 people in the company. Navigating that journey basically means that you're not the only one managing all of your team day to day. And culture is the bridge between you managing and the team managing, and basically what become your frontline workers that you're one step removed from actually doing the things that you want them to do. Because if you imagine, if you're not managing someone every day, you can't see what they're up to every day. And when they're making choices in how they deliver their work to your customers, you need to have something that kind of like holds together the way that you want things done. And the challenge is, this is what stops many business owners from actually growing their business. Because you get to the point where you're growing the business and you have more staff and you have more problems. And if you haven't curated your culture, if you haven't created a great culture inside your business, what tends to happen is you have staff not doing what you want. And in our mindset as a business owner, as more staff are added, there's more problems added because there's more chance of something going wrong that we're going to notice. And the risk with that mindset is we start to believe more staff equal more problems. And so more business growth equals more staff equals more problems. And so what do? We stop growing the business. Very, very, very dangerous. And culture is the solution to this. Good culture means that when you have key values and you've got that mission and that vision of like, this is where we're going, what that means is that you're able to reduce the reliance on you having to coach and manage every single person in the business. And culture, those values basically hold the team together so that your team can enforce them with each other. There you go. That's the secret. So if you want to bring in and retain great talent, let them know upfront what your mission is, what your values are, what you stand for, and then have your team help you police that with who you're bringing into the business. Another little trick, let your team help hire the team. Let your team help scope out the role for who you're looking to add to the team when you need more people. Let your team help interview the people that you're bringing into the business. And if you want some ideas on what that looks like and what our recruitment process looks like, head along to our recruitment page. It's itgenius.com/careers. And you'll see here that we share a little bit about what our business is about. You can get a feel for the way that we run the company. We put all of our vision and mission and values right there on the page. We've even got an interview with a couple of our team members on what it's like to work with us. And only then do we share the positions that we have open, and we ask for some information on those who might be wanting to join the business. Hope that one was helpful. Great question. I'm obviously very passionate about that. Okay. Final thoughts on that before I close. Some staff are not motivated just by money. Money is actually the number 4 motivator for people joining your business. Number 1 is, am I playing to my strengths? Number 2 is, do I feel like the work that I'm doing is actually having an impact on where the business is going? Number 3 is, am I getting recognition from my managers and from my peers? Number 4 is, how much am I being paid? So if you can do some work on those other primary drivers and those other motivators, you're more likely to retain talent rather than just trying to throw money at them. And particularly in a difficult labor market at the moment, you need to find other ways to be able to motivate and attract staff aside from just their pay. And knowing what drives people and knowing what actually motivates people is a big help. There's a great book on that. It's called Drive by Daniel Pink. I recommend you check that out. And I've got more videos on this on our channel, both on IT Genius and this channel here. All right, let me jump into my next one. Okay. I want a video AM and PM at 11:11 on aligned to vision and entrepreneur video of Universal Woo Woo. Okay, gold Universal Woo Woo. Here's my gold Universal Woo Woo. Everything is a game. Business is a game. Life is a game. You get to choose how you play it. And when you understand the universal principles that everything is meaningful and everything is meaningless, you get to choose how you play that game. And if you want to get really, really woo-woo and go into the realm of like, okay, you're God and you get to create the universe that exists for you, then you get to play with the fabric of the universe. And I talk about this a lot in my videos where there is always polarities. It's one of the universal principles. There's always the light side and then there's the dark side. There's always the plus side and there's the minus side. There's always an equal balance of possibility and unpossibility. And when you see the world as all perfectly in balance, and you can see that everything is upsides and everything is downsides, this is very John DeMartini. You get to exist in the world in a place of inner peace, inner love, in seeing that, okay, for everything that has an upside, there's going to be a downside somewhere. For everything everywhere there's a downside, there's going to be an upside somewhere. And when you understand that truth, it's a very freeing truth, because it means that all of a sudden you have the opportunity to play with the fabric of the universe, make up your own rules, and that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to disrespect the reality of living in a culture and existing with other people. But what it does mean is with that empowered thought, you can let go of whatever you may have that is limiting you. And I mean stories of, I can't do this, I shouldn't do this is not for me, or this can't be done. Release every single one of those stories and enjoy playing the game. There you go. That's just a little bit of spiritual woo. I hope you enjoyed that. That's a good one. All right. Do we give anything to our team on their work anniversaries? Yes, we do. So we make a big deal about work anniversaries for our team, particularly because we have a team based in the Philippines. Something like tenure is very tenure is very valued in businesses in the Philippines. And so our Philippines-based team, we want to make a big deal every time someone reaches a work anniversary. So we have a big celebration shout out in our chat. And the other things that we do are we will give gifts. And I can't remember off the top of my head what the gifts were. I don't know, but I think it was like maybe a monetary gift on the first year. I don't know, the second year maybe it was flowers or something. I don't know, but there were gifts. There are gifts, and I'll ask our HR team what those actually were. But what I do remember is year 3, it was a weekend away. And so we gave them a budget. I can't remember how many dollars it was, but it was for them and their spouse to go away, stay in a nice hotel for a couple of days on the business as a thank you. And so celebrating those milestones with your team are really awesome. Love doing that. And it's very helpful. So that's a good one. Yes, we do. Okay, cool. Tell me about alkaline water, how to make it or where to go. What is it? Okay, give me an alkaline overview. Okay, great. Alkaline water is a superpower. Alkaline water is a natural source of water. Natural or not so natural, I'll explain that in a moment. But it basically helps you to hydrate better, and it can help you to digest and flush through anything that's in your body that you don't want to have in your body. I find it helps me to digest a little better, and it helps to keep things moving, if you understand what I mean. Now, I don't understand all of the science behind this, so you're better to talk to a water expert or research a water expert. But my understanding is naturally alkaline water, the molecules are a little bit different, and it means it's a bit easier to absorb into your body, therefore hydrating you a little bit better when you consume it. But naturally alkaline water, and that's alkaline water that comes from a natural source, like a naturally alkaline spring of sorts, typically also comes with a lot of minerals in there because it's been pushed through rocks or dripped across rocks, and it's got those minerals in there, which are really useful for the human body. Now, some people take minerals through supplements, but you can naturally get minerals through natural alkaline water. Now, there is another kind of alkaline water, which is electrolyzed alkaline water. And that's actually made through pushing water through, I think, some electronic magnets or something. And it has the same effect of increased hydration. And that's what I use every day. I generate my own and I put it in a water bottle because I have an alkaline water machine. There's a number of MLM type alkaline water machines. Enagic is one of those. If you're based in Australia, you can buy one of those. I bought mine on eBay and I got it for like 1/5 of the price secondhand. But alkaline water, when it's generated, doesn't have the minerals, but it does still have the same hydration effect. Some people call it Kangen water, Kangan, but that's just a brand for electronically alkalized water. So check out alkaline water. I'm a big fan. I drink it every single day, basically exclusively. I take my water bottle with me everywhere. If I'm at home, I will use bottled water. And so that's how I access my alkaline water. It gives me the minerals if I'm using the natural alkaline bottled stuff. One of my friends owns a company called Alka Life. If you're based in Australia, so you can get access to that in many stores. That is a natural mineral source from the Blue Mountains in Sydney, where I'm from, of naturally mineralized alkaline water because it comes from nature. Or if you go to the shops, you can usually buy it in the shops as well. But the best way to do it for the environment, reducing plastic waste, is to get a machine for home and then create your own. You still need to get your minerals from somewhere else, but it is a good idea to use alkaline water because it will keep you better hydrated. And you'll find if you switch to drinking that exclusively, you're going to be feeling much, much better with your digestion. I hope. I don't know. Results may vary, but I hope you'll feel a lot better. I certainly do when I drink it. Okay, I'm going to finish up there. Thanks so much for the questions. Appreciate everyone sending them through. If you'd like to drop me another question, head to ask.peter.tv. That will redirect to the questions. You can drop a question in there. You can vote for your favorite questions, and I'm going to do as many of these as I can. Until next time, I'll see you later. Cheers.